Hey guys, recently Trillo and I hosted the very first screening of our new short movie, CASANOIR.
It was held at the appropriately named Film Noir Cinema in Brooklyn, New York.
And this is a parody and tribute to the 1942 iconic classic movie, Casablanca.
That's what Casa Noir is. This screening was only for cast, crew, and VIPs.
By special invitation only.
Casa Noir is being submitted to all kinds of film festivals around the world right now.
And so we are not allowed to show it, on the internet.
Or to have public screenings until it runs its course of the film festival circuit.
Which could be another year or two, or who knows how long.
We don't know how long. But the only way you'll be able to see it in its entirety is to go to one of these film festivals.
Hopefully on a big screen near you. We'll keep you posted, so stay in touch with us for updates and more information.
In the meantime, here's a little behind-the-scenes look at the screening the other day of Casa Noir.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I hope so. Here we are in the lobby of the Film Noir Cinema in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, appropriately named Film Noir Cinema, where we're going to have the private screening, very first, of Casa Noir in a few minutes. Sabrina is here.
Hello.
Helen, I'm no good at being emotionally stable.
You can say that again.
I'm no good at being emotionally stable.
You said that already.
But if that plane leaves and you're not on it, you'll regret it. Maybe not tomorrow or yesterday, but soon, and for the rest of Swade's life.
On the other hand, if you insist on staying, what?
What about us? What about...
We'll always have schmutzy killers.
If the health department lets it reopen.
I want the control tower, damn it!
For the baggage department, press 4.
Hey, it's Captain Stress. He's dead.
I'm up the usual times.
So that's a little look at the recent screening of Casa Noir,
And hopefully you'll be able to see it soon on a big screen near you.
at an international film festival. Stay connected with us so you'll get all the updates.
Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel.
Do it right here if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube,
Well, then find YouTube, the Trillo and Slade YouTube channel.
and subscribe to us. And stay connected on Facebook also.
Yeah, join the group. We have a Trillo and Slade group just for you.
A lot of fun. All the updates, way to chat with us and stay in contact.
And you can find us on TikTok. We've got a lot of followers. How many right now?
We got, I think, 72,000 and growing every day. Anyway, stay connected all the ways you can.
And here's looking at you, kids.
Welcome once again to the Radical Imagination. I'm your host, Jim Vrettos. I'm a sociologist who's taught at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and Yeshiva University here in New York City. In a brilliant new short film noir parody entitled CASANOIR, master ventriloquist Jonathan Geffner has continued the quirky, absurdist world he created over 2 decades ago of Trillo and Swade, a ventriloquist detective played by Geffner and his wooden partner Swade. The characters in CASANOIR become Geffner's homage for the love affair he's had with the quintessential, timeless 1943 classic film Casablanca. Taken from the French word noir, meaning darkness or of the night, film noir is a cinematic term often associated with the stylish crime melodramas of 1940s and 50s Hollywood, the classical period of the genre. The filmmaking style is usually defined by its dark themes, general pessimism about the world, and characters who are seriously flawed and morally questionable. It encompasses a variety of visual approaches that is dark, gritty, with frequent use of flashbacks, intricate plots, dark mysteries, and utilization of shadows. Often, there's a murder to be solved, a femme fatale antagonist, an anti-hero protagonist, and an ideal woman. We're thrilled to once again have on the Radical Imagination Jonathan Geffner, the gifted ventriloquist, humorist, musician, and actor, creator and executive producer of the multi-award-winning Trillo and Suede web series, and creator, executive producer, and lead actor in what is fast becoming another multi-award-winning venture, CASANOIR. He's on a mission to market the film, including a strategy to make it Oscar eligible. We're also thrilled to have on the show to talk about her leading role as Helen in CASANOIR. Katharina Schmidt. She played recurring guest star roles in Trillo and Suede, including Helga, a German femme fatale with a wooden sense of humor. Helena, a French femme fatale with a pastry fetish, and as Heather, a damsel in distress from Chicago. Beatty Cohan-Vrettos is also here to help us navigate and understand the complex layers of love, relationships, intrigue, deceit, loss, and traumatization so central to the film. Beatty has been a psychotherapist and sex therapist for over 35 years, author of the best-selling Never Make a Mistake in Love Again, an advice columnist for Dan's Papers in the Hamptons, host of the Ask Beatty Show on the Progressive Radio Network, an expert guest on numerous national shows, and most importantly, and happily for me, my wife and the love of my life. She and Jonathan and Katharina will help us untangle the complex, shadowy web that is both CASANOIR and CASABLANCA, houses of darkness and deceit, love and light. Wow. So here we are. And we are now talking with our CASANOIR characters. And tell us about how you came to make this show. Tell us a little about it so we can start talking about the intricate nature of the relationships that are in this incredible short film.
Well, first of all, it's great to be back here, Jim. We had a great time with you previously, and Suede and I were very happy for the opportunity to come back and talk, I guess, mainly about our new movie, CASANOIR.
That was a natural development for us to do this movie because of a couple of things. First of all, Casablanca is one of the iconic classic movies from the era that we are recreating and reinventing for all our fans and friends and followers. So we wanted to do some kind of a tribute to it
and parody at the same time. So we came up with this idea a long time ago. It started over 2 decades ago.
Wow, the years just fly by, don't they, Jim?
Well, yeah, it certainly seems that way. And the original screenplay was for a feature film. Through these years, we haven't been able to find the funding.
Very frustrating process. Came close a lot of times.
Yeah.
But close to no cigar and no movie either.
It may be coming. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, there's still some hope for that. But last year, I decided that what I'm going to do is self-fund it as a short film because I could manage to dredge up the funds for this one last shot at some kind of a self-produced Trillo and Suede effort. And so I took the script and culled it down to a short film now called CASANOIR. So it's the same concept, but reworked, updated a bit. And this way I was able to happily produce this concept and script that I've been thinking about, working on for a long time.
And Helen, you play what role in this short film?
I play the femme fatale.
The femme fatale. And you're a pro on this, right? I mean, you've done this numerous times with Trillo and Suede. So how does that play out concretely? Are you true and faithful? And how do you deal with are you deceitful? I don't want to give too much away for the show here, but it's a complex role, isn't it?
I guess so. You know, men like complex women, so
Really?
I guess I'm not that one-dimensional.
Complex women. So is that true, Spade? You're very much into complex women?
All kinds of dames. I like a wide variety. But I'll tell you
complex and simple, or mainly complex?
Well, it could be anything, but to me, I always make it simple. Whether they start,
You make it simple. Whether they're
because it comes down to this. They're a
Yes.
dame and I'm a guy, and we go together very nicely. I'll tell you, Helen's the whole package. That's
Yeah.
like we figure we're going to shoot this movie, and it's a little bit of our real lives. It's kind of like ourselves on screen. It's as if it's like almost a documentary kind of thing of what's
Wow.
going on in our lives. So who's better to do it than my real life main squeeze, Helen?
And would you go so far as to say you love Helen? Is that saying too much, or do you want to admit that here in public?
Well, in a manner of speaking, to the extent that I'm capable of loving any dame, yes.
Wow. Well, we've got to bring Beatty in on this. Is he afraid of intimacy here? What's going on here, Beatty? What can you tell from this initial meeting?
Well, I think it's a little too soon to tell, Jim, but certainly there is nothing ever simple about relationships. Relationships are probably the most complex arena in life that we're all trying to navigate. And of course, the reality, as many people know, is that we're not doing well in the world of relationships, despite all of these self-help books and retreats and therapists. And just to give you a little bit of data here that people may be interested in knowing about, that the divorce rate, as an example, for first marriages is 48%. Wow. And for second marriages, that number soars to 67%. And then one really hopes, right, if you're getting married for the third or fourth or fifth time, that we are going to do better. However, that reality is not the case. And the divorce rate for third or more marriages is 73%. And we all have a lot to learn about what to do to never make a mistake in love again. And of course, through my work, I have really good news to share. And in just a couple of seconds, I'm going to tell everybody, and I'm sure people are really sitting on their chairs and they're wanting to know, what the good news is. But there are three things, and I say only three things that we all need to do to never make a mistake in love again. And the first thing is that each of us needs to be in a good place emotionally, psychologically, psychiatrically. We have to be willing to deal with, in quotes, our skeletons in the closet and unfinished business. Because as I've always told people, the relationship ideally is the icing on the cake, and we need to be the cake. We need to be solid. We need to be together. And number two, the majority of people, again, despite all of the movies and the self-help books and therapists and coaches, really are not clear about what ingredients go into a successful long-term relationship. And number three, I'm just going to say this very, very briefly, is my book, my research. I did research with 450 people in the Boston, Providence, and Connecticut area, and I came up with a 10-step formula. And people who know me, they know that I'm very bottom line. If it doesn't work, that's not waste time even talking about it. So this 10-step formula actually teaches all of us how to assess. Yes, assess. It's not romantic, it's not sexy, but how to assess who's right for you and who's wrong for you.
But Beatty, can we apply that to Suede here? We don't want to scare him off with the data here. But is he, Suede, are you aware of some of the skeletons in your closet, for example?
Yeah, of course. I have wooden skeletons in my closet.
Wooden skeletons.
Yeah, I try not to focus on them. I look forward all the time, and I heeded what Beatty was just talking about, that very alarming divorce rate that's going on, and I'm well aware of that. So I'm beating the odds, and I figured out a strategy to beat those odds. My strategy is never get married. That way, I'm not going to get divorced. So that's my solution.
So, Helen, what do you think about that? I mean, let's say you obviously have an intense admirer. Is that okay with you? That he is in love, but he's not going to give that full commitment toward marriage and following Beatty's formula, and he was aware that he's got these skeletons, but he's not looking at him. He's moving forward. Can he do that? Are you willing to give that a shot? Maybe.
I think that's fine. We'll always have Paris.
Wow.
That's right. We'll also have the Knish store, and we'll have the Last Exit nightclub too.
That's right.
Yeah.
I prefer elopement anyway.
Yeah, you see, Jim, you got to remember something, that our situation here is, as you alluded to before, is a little complicated. I just look at it in a simple way, but the situation is complicated because if you see the movie CASANOIR, you'll be aware of the fact that there's a sort of triangle going on there.
Yes.
But Helen's got a thing with that guy she just calls Brains.
Yeah, Brains is the nickname of her other love interest, competing love interest with Sway.
Now, Trillo also is in the picture in the past. There's a backstory there. So there used to be a little triangle there with Trillo that you can tell he's sort of the odd man out here.
Is that true? I mean, Trillo. I mean,
yeah. Well, there was a little something. I'd rather not get into it.
Yeah, hurtful memories for him, so he doesn't want to divulge in here.
But yeah, Helen and I did have a little something in the past.
Yeah, you call it something. It's almost nothing.
Oh well, it was something at the time. All right, but that seems to be well in the past now, and all I have left is Rugala.
Wow.
Jim, can I just add something
Sure.
to this interesting conversation?
Absolutely.
Is that if you only want Paris and you only want to have fun, then you really don't need to even think about my research or my book or my clinical experience. The reality is that if you're wanting something serious, then we have to dig deep. If you're wanting to just have Paris and have fun and hopefully have great sex, that none of this is really all that significant. You just kind of have a relationship and then you move forward and nothing really matters. And then you just kind of go on to the next relationship and probably repeat the same dynamic.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, Beatty. And but I don't want to put your stuff down because it's very valuable for certain people like Trillo. Trillo should pay close attention because I think maybe you can help get him on the straight and narrow or get him on the path again or something like that. And he desperately needs some help there. So, yeah, Trillo, you should pay attention to Beatty.
Well, I think he probably is. And he did have Paris and Rugala as well. Rugala becomes a big piece of, though pun intended.
Yeah, huge piece of Rugala.
A big piece of Rugala is a sense of intimacy in a sense, but
well, yeah, but even that seems to backfire on me.
Yes, I was going to say.
Yeah, because look, he's left with Rugala. He's left with these painful memories of what he thinks he had once upon a time with Helen. But all he's got now is the Rugala. The point is, he's allergic to gluten, so he can't even eat them. They just sit there collecting dust. Those Rugala, getting moldy, just like his life. To a metaphor.
Wow, that's pretty pessimistic there.
That's a sad situation, yeah.
Huh. Well, so Beatty, what can you do to help the situation?
Well, in order to help the situation, and I love the way you put that, Jim, people really have to become serious students of relationship education, even though that is not sexy and it's not romantic and we don't want to think of education. We just want to fall in love and we want to have passion. and we want to have great sex. But again, if you're looking at domestic violence statistics and divorce statistics and infidelity statistics, the fact is that we have to do some work. And what I have identified over the years about, working out our own issues, be clear about the ingredients. And if we're serious, we need to actually think about assessment, because when you think about it, we assess everything in our lives, our homes, our cars, our computers, our cell phones. And yet when we think about relationships, we don't want to think about assessment. And yet it is so critical that we do. And this is one of the things that I really loved about the formula, is that it is very bottom line, but the reality. And I was very disappointed about this because, as you know, Jim, I'm probably one of the most impatient people in my personal life. My research found is that it takes close to a year to really find out who somebody is and is not, using my 10-step formula from my book, For Better, For Worse, Forever, Discover the Path to Lasting Love. So again, it's going to take some work here. But if we want to have more than just, an encounter in Paris or a roguelike, we are then going to have to do a little bit of work.
But this was not just quite an encounter. This was something that stayed with you for years, wasn't it? This encounter. Helen really, really affected you. I mean, you were, would you call it traumatized? And she ends up, you're meeting her again in the.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't exactly call it traumatized. No, I would. Well, no, I didn't feel that, the pain to that extent.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, really thrown through a loop there.
Are you resisting? Are you resisting Trillo? I mean.
Well, I also try not to focus on the hurt of the past. But, it's kind of thrown in my face again in CASANOIR. Recently, that experience, which we filmed for the movie, and it just brought all those memories flooding right back.
Yeah, it's kind of intense. I mean, I don't know. Helen maybe didn't even notice it because, she was busy with her own ulterior motives there, getting the letters of transit. That's a story in itself. I don't know. Helen, were you aware of the fact that Trillo was devastated?
I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
Oh, I would too. I've seen it, and you were devastated. Come on.
I know, Helen. What do you think?
Rightfully so. I mean, come on. Helen is a beautiful woman here. Now, but that's a good question. Were you so deceitful, Helen? What did you feel toward Trillo now at this point?
Well, I definitely felt that his bowels were resisting. I mean, he does have a gluten intolerance. But at the same time, as a woman in this world, having the upper hand is very crucial. You never know when you're going to be in a situation where your power will be taken from you. I do believe that Beatty's advice would come very much in handy for the character playing Captain Renault, Gregory Levine's character, who has a very hot encounter with a older woman. Perhaps Trillo can take some notes from them.
Are you referring to Mrs. Levinsky? Is that?
I believe I am.
Yeah,
That's the older
right.
woman.
Yes, Frenchie. Yes, Frenchie had quite a thing for her.
Wow. So there's multiple intrigues, and do we want to really talk about it? There's sort of an ultimate deceit at the end. Do we want to just leave that sort of ambiguous? And Helen,
Let's not give everything away there, Jim.
Yeah, no. Right. Well, this is but again, the film noir is about deceit, and on the other hand, you idealize Casablanca, the House of Light. Is that involved in your thinking here as well? CASANOIR, the House of Darkness, and Casablanca, the House of Light and Love. Is there?
It's kind of like the ultimate crystallization of my love for film noir in general.
Right.
The darkness, the gloominess, and I look for kind of catharsis instead of trying to avoid these kind of sadness realities in life. Just confront them and create something that transforms it. That's what film noir is all about for me.
For me, it's not so personal. I dig the atmosphere. I don't take it as personally as Trillo because I don't have the same kind of traumatic issues as he has. But I love the whole atmosphere of it, so I think it's very cool.
But something that I think is really important, and I talk about this a lot, lessons to be learned, right? What have we learned? Of course, if our relationships are working, then hopefully we're, doing something well, we're communicating well, we're problem solving well with our partner. But if the relationships are not working, I think it's so important for us to take an honest look at, what is my role? What is it that I'm doing or not doing, perhaps in terms of even choosing the kind of people that we end up with, where unfortunately the relationships are not working well. So we have to be introspective. We have to be willing to take a very, very honest look at ourselves, at our relationships, at our history, at our relationship patterns in order to be able to figure this out and really learn something from our past experiences.
Trillo sounds like he might be open to this. Don't you think?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I try to be open to new experiences, even from Suede. I mean, I kind of try to learn from watching how he navigates the world of romance. I don't know how much I've learned.
Nothing.
Something along the way.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've learned from Trillo too.
Oh, you have?
That's right. I give credit where credit is due. Yeah, this is what I learned from him. I watched all the things his experiences with romance, and what I do is I analyzed it, and I do everything the opposite of what he did. That's what I take away from it.
You're just going to sit there and take that, Trillo?
Well, I'm used to it. I'm kind of so downtrodden by now. I don't know how to react anymore.
I don't know. I'd like to know what Helen thinks about that. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Her dealings, I'm very curious about her dealings romantically. I mean, I don't care. I don't get jealous. I know that we each have our own things. So what about what's your philosophy now in dealing with men in your life, Helen, in general?
Never get bogged down too much anywhere. That's my philosophy.
My own heart.
There you go.
Bogged down, right? Do you perceive that you will ever want to get bogged down a little bit? Do you think with perhaps, I mean, this is in the future, perhaps, with one significant relationship, you think, or you're perfectly content with the femme fatale position you're taking, you're living?
Well, the femme fatale lifestyle is very much for me. However, it depends on what they're offering.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess you see, it's what's on the table, Yes, everybody's got.
Or under the table.
Exactly. Now you're cooking.
Wow.
But something, let me just say that, it's fine that you don't want to have a significant monogamous relationship and that you just want to be a femme fatale and go from, one situation to the other. And if that's what you want, and if that's working for you, then that's good. It's just that certainly the patients that I treat for the most part are all looking for significant, meaningful, monogamous kinds of relationships and are really struggling because of their own issues, past and present, to be able to find lasting love. But if you don't want lasting love, that's fine. And if you're enjoying your life in the way
stick with Suede. You stick with Suede. You don't go get involved with Trillo.
Right.
Yeah, that's the idea. Oh, excuse me. I got to remind Trillo here. We got that appointment.
Oh,
appointment with the client. It's in the Last Exit nightclub. We're meeting a client. We got to take on a new case.
Oh, that's right. We do.
How can you forget? I mean, I don't want to be late for this one because she's a looker. You know what I mean?
Okay, there you go.
All right. So I guess we'll have to talk to you another time off to another case. But we have a fan, Jonathan Geffner,
often confused with Trillo. People often think he's the alter ego because he goes around claiming that he invented us, he created us. all this stuff, all that nonsense. He's a deranged fan, actually. Looks like.
And he'll be coming back.
Anyway, so Jonathan is right nearby. I'll come right back. I can't come back. I have to go this way, but I'll tell Jonathan to come right back and continue the conversation. Is that okay?
That's fine with us. We'll look forward to seeing whoever comes back.
All right. Well, see you later, guys.
Okay. All right. I hope this has been helpful. All right. Wonderful. Wow. Let's see. So Jonathan is off to the last exit, no exit cafe. That's where Mrs. Levinsky, that she owns that.
She owns it, yeah.
And it's a place which only serves seltzer.
That's all, just seltzer.
And is there any reason for that, or
she lost her liquor license?
She lost it. She just okay. All right, and that's where you hang out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, wonderful. So we should mention. I wanted to make sure that we got this in, that that you're having a couple of screenings of CASANOIR, correct? June 25th and 26th.
Yes, for anybody in the New York City area, it's your golden opportunity to see CASANOIR on the big screen while it is in the film festival circuit around the world. It's not yet available on the internet anyplace. We have to keep it off the internet for any public consumption until the film festival circuit's finished because of certain restrictions. But there are two film festivals which are screening CASANOIR in New York City. And I don't know, the details, maybe we can put up a link or something, Jim?
Yeah, we could, but it is June 25th, Roosevelt Island Theater, 548 Main Street at 315, and then at the Crane Theater, 85 East 4th Street, and that's at 9.
Next day on Sunday, right? So Saturday and Sunday.
So yes,
a CASANOIR weekend. You go to both screenings.
There you go. And will you be there?
Yes, I'll be there at both screenings, and I'll also be there to talk about the film, to answer any questions after the screenings. I'm not sure if they're going to set that up for the Sunday screening. They haven't informed me yet, but the Saturday screening definitely. I'll be answering any questions there from the audience members at the screening.
Katharina, will you be there possibly?
Perhaps. This is the first time I'm hearing that they're going to be at screenings. I know it's been in festivals, so I hope so. I do have other jobs, but I'm going to try.
Like what? What have you been doing?
Well, I have to, as most actors, have side gigs. So I work for a talent development company, and I also work as a standardized patient. So at a medical college. So those are my two side gigs. And then as far as upcoming projects, I will potentially be recording a play in July, and then a short film. And I potentially have a contract with a theater coming up. We'll see. With COVID, it's always a little crazy, touch and go. So we will see if that bears to fruition. But those are kind of my upcoming sort of projects.
Right. And Beatty too, you're a performer in a sense, correct? I mean, you do a number of workshops. You've been on a number of television shows. But what can you say about that? Do you see your work as a therapist extending to a more mass audience, for example?
Well, it actually always has, Jim. I mean, after the book, the first edition of my book came out in 1998. I mean, that was the beginning of the media world, in a very major way. I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of, national television shows. And, I do this primarily, it's not just to be in front of a camera, although that's fun too, to really try and help people improve the quality of their life, their relationships, and their mental health. So basically, I do the same thing in my private practice. I have a private practice here in New York City and also in East Hampton. And, so the columns everything that I basically do, including what we're talking about here, it's all pretty much the same, just using, a different venue to try to get the message out. But you know what, Jonathan, I was thinking about your screenings, and I was thinking what an amazing opportunity it is for you to meet all kinds of women. I mean, what a great, what a great opportunity. You're out there, the film, we love the film, and here's the film producer and writer, and so that, what a great opportunity to be able to try and initially connect with all kinds of people, including women. And you never, ever know, as long as we're open to the possibility of who it is that we can meet at any given time in our lives.
Yes, I suppose that possibility is always there at such events.
It is. I think as long as people are open to the possibilities, and I used to tell patients, who were starting out dating, just saying hello, just being present, just showing up. It's really amazing what can happen if we are all open to connection and to connecting with people. And I'll tell you a really cute story, is that I had a patient of mine many, many years ago, and she was just dying to meet somebody. And I asked her, I said, I'd like you to ask your friends, what do you project when you're out in the world? You say you want to meet a man, you say you want to fall in love, but I was really curious what it was that she projected. So she came back the next week and she says, Beatty, you're not going to believe this, but my friends really told me that I wear a sign, actually not a real sign, that says, stay away from me. So I think that we all really have to ask ourselves and be really mindful and aware of what is it that we are actually projecting to the world. Are we projecting, I'd like to maybe get to know you, or are we projecting, on the other hand, stay away from me? So it's something to think about.
Well, let me pursue that a little bit with both Jonathan, and Katharina. What are you projecting through your work? Do you think that's an extension of your individuality? And obviously it is, but what are you trying to say about yourself, your worldview, that might be appealing or maybe not appealing? Not to make this all academic and cerebral, but I mean, your body of work, you're incredibly gifted. I mean, forget about it. You're just technically the greatest ventriloquist there are in the world. But on top of that, you are clever, you're smart, you're warm. The work, there's a sweetness to it. There's a humor, there's a pathos, and so on. I mean, what Beatty is saying here, your work projects so much of that. And is that part of your appeal, do you think? Or what you're trying to appeal?
Oh, well, none of that's conscious sort of qualities that I'm trying to, display.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, I'm glad that you perceive my work that way. I'm very, very pleased.
Oh, many people do.
Yeah. I have different types of work, though, because I do a lot of shows with other puppet characters. Primarily, that's what I perform as a ventriloquist, is with various other puppet characters when I do live shows. In fact, I hardly ever perform as Trillo and Suede. I mean, that is, I reserve so far just for the
web series,
web series and videos and movie now and other projects which I want to produce, the scripts I've written. But each one of my puppets is a certain aspect of my own personality. I put something of myself into each one of them. Or they come from a different part of of myself. So they all reflect, I guess, different aspects of my personality. My goal is to entertain, to make people feel that they've experienced something that makes them feel a little better for at least a little while.
Yeah.
And, as far as Trillo and Sway, that's a different direction, coming from the same general love and inspiration to create puppet characters that look real, which was the reason for ventriloquism, for my becoming a ventriloquist in the first place. But Trillo and Sway is a very specific angle, which comes from my love for film noir. I want to combine that with my desire to entertain and to bring some joy to people, but also to explore and express my own love for that genre and that whole atmosphere.
And your casting of Katharina is just brilliant. There's a vivaciousness, there's an energy.
That was fortunate for me, fortunate for us that she was available to do this, because as soon as I discovered her at auditions for the web series, I knew I needed to use her in the web series itself. And then when I decided to do this script to produce it, she was the first person I thought of for that role. So I'm very glad she could do it. Oh, incidentally, Katharina, I'm glad you mentioned that you didn't get the notifications about the screenings, because we have to check our emails or something, why they're not going through. Because I did send you a notification, just so you know, about the Sunday one, when that was first announced, and then just the other one, though, was just the other day announced. I think yesterday it was announced. So I just put something on Facebook about that, so you probably didn't get to see that. But we'll have to make sure that we're in the more accurate communication, because I definitely want to invite you to that in every screening that comes up. And hopefully you can come to one of them at least.
Yeah. Well, and Katharina, your characters are so larger than life. I mean, you come across here as, we see little flickers of it, but I mean, you're milder and more gentle. But you have played some incredible characters in the website as well as in CASANOIR. So, how do you transport yourself into that sort of mindset, if you will? And maybe you can even give us a little bit of a, minute or so, a half minute of that character.
Oh gosh, which one?
So many. Of Helen. At the end, gosh, not to put you on the spot, but I mean, whatever you feel comfortable with, because the contrast is amazing. How do you reach in and take that from your heart and soul and put that on the stage and on the screen?
Well, thank you for the compliment. And I will also say that Jonathan's ventriloquism is incredible. I mean, the video he sent of the for Wild Fest, I believe, Wild Sound Festival in California, there was a lot of reaction to his skill. A lot of people appreciating just how professional and incredible his ventriloquism is. So, a lot of people do make note of how, skilled and talented and masterful he is at that. Well, I guess with Ilsa, or Helen's character, which is based on Ilsa Lund in Casablanca, she was, in a way, of course, Ingrid Bergman was born in Sweden, but she was also fluent in German. And so luckily I am fluent in German, and so I could kind of pick up on her unique ways of speaking, like the S's and the T's a little bit, and her vowel sounds. So I think when I first read the script, and I've watched the movie before and I watched it again, that sort of came a little bit easier for me to sort of endow that voice. I love accents. I love, picking up different sounds, different musicality, of languages and dialects, and so she really has a very specific one. It's transatlantic, and then on top of it, you have these unique little flourishes that show that she's, you know, Scandinavian and Germanic. And she herself, Ingrid Bergman, spoke a lot of languages, and I think I gravitated towards sort of her arc, her skill set as well. Her career, I mean, of course, was incredible. And she had been trained to be an opera singer as well, I believe, at one point. So she had a lot of facilities with language. So right off the bat, that was something that was really engaging for me. And then just in general, I have a lot of theater training. And to me, Jonathan's characters are often have that ability to play, to be very theatrical, to really be physical, as well as, you know, playing with language. So it sort of all came together as something that was like a playground for me to like explore. And I really love the idea of making every character an individual, fleshed out, with idiosyncrasies that are sort of a little exaggerated.
Yes.
And
very convincing, so convincing.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm not going to give the ending away, but boy, you have us there. And then, but all right, everybody's got to go see CASANOIR to see all of this. So Beatty, is this partly what you're also talking about in terms of people being open to life and to opportunities and to being the sort of people that can appeal to other people? Is this, are we all in a way, partly at least, performing?
I think that we do all perform to a greater or lesser degree at different times in our life. One of the things that is striking me about this conversation, and Jonathan, I'm so sorry that I missed you in Brooklyn. I was really hoping to hang out with you and Jim.
Right. Yeah.
We went to the
We'll do it again.
Greek Jewish synagogue there. Well,
so one of the things that really strikes me is how fortunate we are, the four of us, to be able to be living out our passion, or at least one of our major passions, professionally. I know for me, even though, you know, some days I have some really tough cases, I mean, it is a passion and a privilege to be able to do the kind of work that I do. And I can hear it in all of us, that we are living out our passions in our work, and of course, hopefully, you know, personally as well. And that is really something that you, Jim, and Jonathan and Katharina, that you're all projecting. You know, that there is a joie, there's a joie de vivre, there's something really special that I believe that we're all projecting because we are lucky enough to be doing what we love.
My guess is you may have had to say this maybe one time as you were directing this, and she took off and knew exactly what you were doing, wanted to do, right?
Absolutely.
That's my gut feeling. So
I think I don't think I even had said that to her for CASANOIR. At the Trillo and Suede, like at the auditions, I mentioned that to everybody as people were auditioning way back then. But I mean, I knew that for CASANOIR, she would know exactly what to do.
I had really good source material to work with too. I mean, working with Casablanca, it's kind of like that's a really strong blueprint. And at the same time, I had a really great cast. I think the way Jonathan plays it very dry really works with my style of comedies, or especially characterization, and then the supporting cast. Everyone just, you know, without them, I don't think the comedy and the pathos would have necessarily been as strong or as supported without them being there. And of course, the puppets add so much as well, because there's this conceit that they're real people, they're not just puppets. Right. So the cast has to work together to, you know, create that conceit and make sure to honor that. And I think without the supporting characters, I mean, we mentioned Frenchie, but there were so many others who, you know, played such crucial supporting parts to really make this project really hit you in the way, with having the comedy and landing the jokes, and then, you know, also turning on a dime and then actually being very emotional and crying, and and that uncertainty, that casa noir, that darkness, that sort of sense of murkiness that sort of comes in, where you're kind of, what are people's true intentions here? Is there sort of a backstory I'm not getting? So it all sort of came together due to everyone's work, and I'm very grateful that I had that.
It's an ensemble. It's an individual within an ensemble, and a wonderful, loving collaboration and relationships that you've been talking about too, Beatty. This is a very, very intense experience. You must have enjoyed it so much. We only have about a minute or so to go. We want to make sure that we know how to reach you and talk again about how we can see Casa Noir. And but last word on this, Beatty, too. Isn't this partly what you're also talking about? This intense, loving relationship that involves all kinds of interactions, and including deceit and love, and it's life. It's life.
It's definitely life. And I always say that we have to be very, very careful who we let into our lives and how close we let them. And when you talk about deceit, it takes time. It really takes time to find out who somebody is and is not. And we want to be spontaneous and we want to love the world, but we need to be, there needs to be a level of caution as well, just to make sure that we are living our life in ways that are really in our best interest.
Well, I, for one, am so grateful and thankful that you all have become part of my life and have opened up aspects to my life that I just love and enjoy so very much. And I look forward to continuing our conversation, our relationship, as you move forward into other ventures. But again, Jonathan, let me give you the last word here again. How do we reach you? How can we see Casa Noir again? What is the best way of...
I will continue to do updates on social media about where and when people can see Casa Noir on the big screen at different film festivals around the world coming up in the next few months up to the next year. So stay in touch as much as possible on social media. First of all, join our Facebook group if you're on Facebook, Trillo and Suede Facebook group. Just join it. That's the best place to communicate with me regularly and to get quick updates and to post comments and get quick answers to your questions. So that's one thing. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where I also post video updates and the latest Trillo and Suede videos and movies are all posted there first. So that's Trillo and Suede, conveniently enough. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Those are the main places. I'm on TikTok. I became a very unexpected kind of success relatively on TikTok. That's the last thing I expected, but for some reason it's been catching on. I have 80,000 followers now.
Wow.
And
86,000 followers, actually.
86.
I don't think that much. Well, you just checked?
I think on I forget where it was included, but I think in one of the videos you shot, it sort of had like your TikTok and then how many followers.
But whatever, it's so that's a kind of strange surprise because I did it sort of on a lark, not expecting anything would happen. Anyway, look there too, and Instagram, I don't do much on that, but you can look for me there too. So the different places. Just quickly for email, anybody wants to contact me for any reason, it's the most immediate way. Trillo@Geffner.com. That's easy to remember. Trillo@Geffner, my actual last name, .com.
Got it. All right. And Katharina, we will look for your future appearances with Trillo and other places. Is there a way of reaching you as well?
Yeah, so you can catch me on Instagram. I don't post very often, but I'm always on it. So it's at Caterpillars, which is KATERPILARS, because every other version was taken. And then, of course, check out the YouTube channel for Trillo and Suede. There's always good stuff. And then the TikTok, especially. I know I don't have a TikTok, but for any updates about Trillo and Suede, that would be the way to go. So yeah, those, and I just quickly want to also add that our crew was really incredible too. Our from directing to audio design, like it was just incredible.
Absolutely.
And our costume, Nagin, she was incredible. She actually creates puppets, but she created the sets, the costumes, everything. Our makeup was incredible. If you see it, how the makeup is done, so lovely. And Jonathan's daughter was also there, and she was my little assistant, and she was doing a lot of tasks. But
Sabrina, we're going to have Sabrina on the show later in the summer.
Awesome.
And absolutely. And Beatty, we know how to reach you, right? The Ask Beatty.
I think we do. My website is
You're just down the hall. Yeah.
We're just in another room in the apartment on the Upper West Side of New York.
AskBeatty.com. I'm sorry.
BeattyCohan.com.
Right. And Dan's paper. You're all over. And thank you. So we're over time, unfortunately. We'll do this again. Thank you so very, very much. It's really a blessing to have you all on the show. It was just wonderful. So thank you all very, very much. And we'll see you all soon. And take care.
Great.
Thanks.
And thank you again for watching us. Bye-bye. Thank you very much again for watching us here on The Radical Imagination. We'll see you again next week on The Radical Imagination.
It was a gloomy morning in Brooklyn, New York. I was already feeling cynical and alienated because I'm expected to be that way in this genre.
I'm Fiona Fatale.
Cheating on a dame like you? Hard to believe, dollface.
What was your grandfather's name?
Peter Piper.
And why did you say cloaked in mystery?
Whose name began with an A?
You're the psychic, you tell me.
I decided to become Jewish so no one will know that I'm black.
How could I keep my mother out of it?
Stop talking into the microphone.
Oh my god, just finish the scene. We'll fix everything in scene 2.
Is that a mezuzah in your pocket? Or are you just glad to see me?
Oh, no, that's a jar of Harry. Oh, in case I need a nosh.